Hi, Amber Vilhauer here, owner of NGNG Enterprises.com, which stands for No Guts, No Glory. This is going to be the first video in a short special edition series. The year is 2022, and I'm sitting at my desk, really reflecting back on the past 15 years since I started NGNG. And this month, it is July, we just found out that we hit the Inc. 5000 list, and I am filled with gratitude. I was reflecting back on all of the trials, all of the successes, each team member, each client, each project launched. And I thought it was time, it was appropriate to share a series of stories, as sort of a throwback, but also as great learning opportunity for you as you are maybe just embarking on a new idea and a new journey, a new business, or maybe you've been in business for several years and you're wanting to learn from somebody who's been there. I want to be here to support you no matter where you are in your journey. And I am somebody that is just going to be fully transparent with you, tell you what really happened, and hopefully it'll help you on your journey. A lot of times when I'm being interviewed on podcasts, one of the first questions that they ask me is, so Amber, tell me about your story. How did you end up here? And I always laugh every single time because it's usually a story that people wouldn't necessarily guess. When you look at somebody online and you look at their videos, you make certain assumptions, right? And when people look at me with my flowers and my big smile and my ability to talk to you on video without shrinking, without scripts, I don't script my content out. They make certain assumptions and they think, wow, she was just born to be a speaker. And actually, that's not how it happened. The first 20 or so years of my life, maybe 18 years, I was actually very shy and very insecure. I wasn't well liked for some reason growing up. I never really had friends. I was not a social person. And even in my family dynamic, my older sister, who I'm very proud of, she just took up a room. She had such fierce confidence and empowerment. She was a straight A student, Miss Teen Arizona. She was very popular in school, and she was definitely the star child, and everybody knew it. And I became sort of the quiet observer, which actually helped me to develop a superpower that has served me extremely well in my life. So no need to feel sorry or anything like that. It was actually a blessing the way that I suffered growing up. And this question of, why does nobody see me? Why am I not more valued? Why am I not included? Why am I not invited to things? And it created a lot of suffering, and that created a lot of silence. And I didn't do well in school. I actually failed out of a class my freshman year and picked up some bad decision making. I was lying. I was grounded a lot. And when I was 16 years old, I was hanging out with people that I thought were good enough for me. Now, I did not feel worthy on the inside. So who is good enough to kind of match what I was feeling on the inside? They were not good people. These were people that didn't even live at home. One man lived in an apartment, 16 years old. His best friend was on drugs. And, I never, took part in that, but that was what I felt good enough for. And it culminated one night when I was 16 years old. And this is when my life sort of came to a head, and I had some really big decisions to make. Now, long story short, I told a secret. I told the truth to a friend, and that truth that got out was something that the other party did not want that to get out, and it became a very big dramatic event. And everybody was really upset that I had shared this truth. Honestly, it was kind of ironic because it was really the first time that I was trying to use my voice and to do the right thing in a big way. And what ended up happening is these people that were good enough for me and what I was feeling on the inside, they ended up throwing a party one night. And I went to that party, and something in me, oh, I will never forget that feeling. I just felt this dread. I felt like something was wrong and I needed to get out of there. So I called my ride and I said, come pick me up, because I didn't have a car at the time. And he said, I'll be there in 20 to 30 minutes. So I just had to wait for that point. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, I was just like, that feeling kept growing. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. So I start walking to the front door of this house. There were maybe 60 or 70 kids at this party. And as I walked to the front door, it busted open and these 5 girls came charging through. Where's Amber? Where's Amber? And you know that feeling of like sinking when everything just drops, adrenaline is just rushing through your veins. That's basically what I felt in that moment. And somebody said, well, there she is right there. And they picked me up and dragged me through the house to the backyard. And that night I was jumped by those 5 girls. I was beaten up in the backyard. And what was interesting to me in that moment is nobody tried to save me. Nobody. You know, all of those kids, what they must have been thinking or feeling or experiencing, watching me on the ground in the dirt, trying to protect my face as I was getting kicked. I don't know, but something in me said, get up, Amber, get up, get up, get up. And so I still don't know how, it must've been an act of adrenaline for sure, but something in me shot up and I ran out of that house. And it was such divine timing that as soon as I ran out of the house and they're running after me, my ride showed up. I got into the truck at the last minute. We got out of there and I was in such a state of shock. And, you know, long story, a teeny bit longer, later that evening, I, was sort of reflecting underneath the stars, crying, just like, what was that? What just happened? Where am I? Who am I? You start asking yourself these big questions when something that traumatic happens. And for me, I'm looking up at the stars that night and I just thought, 16 years old. Is this it? Is this my life? Is this who I'm going to be? I can remember that feeling and that emotion when you face yourself like that, really face yourself. It is an act of complete bravery. And I realized that if I continued this path, it wasn't going to end well. It was just going to get worse from here. And I'm looking at this other option that I have to try to dig myself out of this hole that I was in. My grades, the lack of trust that my family had in me, just the people I was surrounding myself with, and worst of all, the way I felt on the inside. And I chose that path. And the next day I woke up and I faced the ramifications of what I had built. And decision by decision, day by day, I started to not boast and brag about what I was going to do. I didn't declare it to anybody. I just tried to make different choices. I remember I got a D on a paper. And normally I would have just, been grumpy, angry, frustrated. Of course I would get a D, just that victim mentality that I had developed somehow. And instead I made a different choice. I went into office hours. And Mr. Stein invited me to redo the paper. I did. He gave me a B. And it was just little moments like that I did the hard thing. I did the thing I didn't want to do. I had mental discipline and follow through, and it worked. And it worked. And it worked. And I found myself, by the time I graduated from high school, about a year and a half later, I graduated with honors. I repaired the relationship with my family. They trusted me again. I developed a sort of inner confidence. And I was so shy and insecure still at that point. I didn't have strong communication skills, but I had something. I had a good start. I had momentum. And sometimes that's all we need is a little bit of momentum. I'm going to speed up the timeline here. I ended up getting a job selling Cutco cutlery, high-end kitchenware. Never sold anything a day in my life, had no clue what got over me, but I showed up, I did the training, I did exactly what they asked me to do. They said, there are 3 types of people in this world. There's the type of person that sits on the fence and watches what everybody else does. I know somebody like that. There's another type of person that sticks their pinky toe in the water to test things out and see how it goes. I know somebody like that too. And in the training, my trainer said, and the third type of person is the type of person that jumps in with both feet, totally cannonballs it into the pool, water splashes everywhere. And something inside of me thought, I want to be that person. I want to be that brave. And I did that with my Cutco training. I went out, I did what they told me to do. I finished #1 in my class out of 100 students. I finished #2 in my office that summer. I was graduated or accepted into management about 3 months into my career there. Started skyrocketing. This is all while I was going to school at the University of Arizona. I sort of made up my own degree. It was a mix of graphic design and marketing, a little bit of art. Turns out I'm an art history nerd, so that's cool. And I went to school and I did Cutco and I focused on me. And again, I'm maybe 18 years old at this point. By the time I was 22 years old, I had skyrocketed into the company. I was breaking national records. I went on award trips. I had so many trophies and my confidence was in. I learned about recruiting. I learned about management, hiring, firing, development, leadership. I mean, I learned it all. I learned how to tap into that entrepreneurial spirit, though I didn't know it at the time. About 5 years into the company, I felt like I had grown as much as I was going to grow. And I'm so thankful that there are so many people in my Cutco family, you know, Justin Donald and Hal Elrod and John Broman, and so many of these guys that I grew up with, we're still connected and friends today. So that felt really good to me. I got to bring my family with me in life, but I moved on. I ended up helping to run this event in Denver that taught businesses how to get capital into their business and how to market online. And that was really my first introduction to the online world as a little 24-year-old squirt, for sure. I'm busy bee running around that event. We had hundreds of people show up, so I really was able to use a lot of my skill set that I learned in Cutco back when we used to put on these large conferences, and I was speaking on stages in front of 300 people back then. I was very familiar with the space of running conferences. And when I looked at some of the speakers, some of the most brilliant internet marketing experts of our time, even today, were speaking on that stage that many years ago. The creator of Google AdWords and people talking about conversion and expert copywriting. And I went home, I thought, now this is a challenge. This is something I'll never get bored with. And all of these years later, I can say, it's true, I'm still not bored. But I went home and I taught myself code. I built my own website and I started blogging about the things that I was learning about. All of a sudden, people started coming in and saying, well, could you manage my guest blogging website? Me? Sure. Could you help me with this ebook? Could you build my website? Sure. And all of a sudden, NGNG was born. A friend of mine said, you should probably file an LLC for that. And I said, what's an LLC? That is how much I knew about starting a business. This was October of 2007. I named the company NGNG Enterprises because my mom growing up used to say to us all the time, no guts, no glory. And I thought, now what better phrase to remember as I embark on this next stage of my life? 2007. 15 years later, we now have an organization that's multi-million dollars. And to me, it's not even so much about the number, right? The sales. To me, that is representative of the number of lives that we impact. And hitting Inc. 5000 is no different. It's sort of a really cool accomplishment. I've achieved other awards, and I've been featured in press and on podcasts. And my goal was always to remain humble, to remember where I came from, to help pass it forward, pass that torch on to my clients, to my team, to just people I meet along the path, my followers. And all I really want is to help people feel heard and seen and valued, because that's how I wanted to feel growing up. And as soon as I got a sense of that feeling, I just thought, that's the most amazing feeling on earth. I want everybody to feel that way. That has translated into my work now at NGNG, where we build websites and branding and help authors and speakers and coaches and consultants and advisors understand, how do I market online? Not in a creepy, skeezy, templatey way, but in something that's meaningful. It's rooted in connection, in cause, in community. That is my life's work. That is my career. And at NGNG, we take our core values extremely seriously. Meaningful connection, unwavering excellence, lean in, better together. These are the lifeblood of our organization. And we're out here making a difference every single day. And it is an honor to share this moment with you, these minutes that are so precious. And if there is absolutely anything that I can possibly do to help breathe life and support and hope and empowerment and security into you and help you on your path, whatever your message is, however you want to help others and help heal this world of ours and make it a better place for our children, I'm here. I definitely want to lean into that conversation and have it with you and share my brilliant team with you and just live this life with you. So thanks so much for your time. I look forward to connecting with you on future videos.